Pardon?
We agree with it, or at least I think the silence means that we're in agreement with what you're saying.
With what I'm saying?
And what, yes.
Yes. But there's something really odd about it. And you'll never know what it is until I point it out. There's one thing in this definition that's so taken for granted that it doesn't even appear as a question. Right? I'll read it again. I'd like to know if you can spot it. Parapsychology is a modern, more restricted form of psychical research. The field which uses a scientific method to investigate phenomena for which there appears to be no normal sensory explanations. What is the scientific method? Repeatable what? You're not quite following me. We are questioning which scientific method. Gotcha, gotcha. Nobody ever thinks to say, what is this scientific method they're using? Right? Damn right. What is this current wonderful scientific method based in?
Hypothesis, test, analysis, conclusion.
It's based in materialism, which is defined the theory that physical matter is the only reality, and that all being and processes and phenomena can be explained as the manifestations or results of matter. When did that come into being? I know, but I want to know if anybody else knows. 1845. The four guys who got it together and pushed it into chemistry and then into physics were under 24 years old. And they have ruled the materialistic age. Now, the reason I'm focusing on these things here is I'm going to tell you what's happened to the only reality. See, if it was just a theory that physical matter exists and that processes and so forth and everything can blah, 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 blah and everything, but it's the only reality. This definition is taken from my trustworthy Webster's Intercollegiate Dictionary of 1974. This was still the official definition of materialism. Only reality, I'm arguing, you see. So when people say the scientific method, they're referring, by implication, to the matter is the only reality. So if there's something around that is not made by matter, is not matter or something like that, they cannot test it with the scientific method because it's not made of matter. Got it? I very seldom prepare notes, but the things I'm going to say are so earth-shaking that I thought I should. And I'm going to point out one thing that the material sciences cannot explain, account for, or even find the mental processes that go on in it is consciousness. If you can't explain consciousness, you can't explain anything we're interested in. You can explain mercantilism. You can explain atomic bombs. You can explain everything else. But there is no currently existing science of consciousness. Here's a book by this guy named Roger Penrose, who's a very famous physicist in England. It is entitled Shadows of the Mind. It is subtitled The Search for the Missing Science of Consciousness. Parapsychology should, from the get-go, have been interested in the phenomena of consciousness and not in the scientific method. I'm old enough, I'm over the hill now, I don't have to be careful anymore about what I say amongst my peers, so I'm saying it. There's no science of consciousness. How can remote viewing, telepathy, blah, 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 all these things be explained if they're functions of consciousness, and the consciousness of science is still missing in the year 2006? You see why my colleagues found me a little difficult to deal with at times? It has turned out, according to this book, you see, if I say it on my own, nobody believes me, but if somebody of this standing says it, then they have to chew on it at least a little bit. It's turned out that consciousness of science is not explainable as processes or result of matter. This book moans and groans about that for at least 100 pages. It cannot be captured by the quantifiable method. It is not quantifiable as all other aspects of matter. It does ask, I must say, what new physics we need to understand consciousness and the mind as well. Now, what has happened to the only reality? I tried to bring along a few things. First of all, this is Scientific American. I don't know what the date is, but here's the cover. Has science missed half the brain? The brain is a matter thing, you know, and scientists have now begun to realize that they've missed half of it. Well, there it is, Dr. Tiller.
I read it too.
You wrote it too?
I read it.
Oh, you've read it. Good. Isn't that funny? I think it's hilarious. They've been researching the brain for all this time and they missed half of it. These are the glial cells that were thought for a long time to merely bring nutrition to the synapses in the neurons, the vitamins that they needed to work on and things like that. But now it's been discovered that the glial cells carry at least 100,000 times worth of what we might think of as digitalized information as well as nutrition to the neurons. Did I get it right? Yes. Specialty of Dr. Persinger in Canada, who's been locked out of his laboratory because he's gone so far advanced in the materialistic sciences that something had to be done about him. Did you know that? A mini inquisition up there. Laurentian University, right. Are you going to give part of this lecture? Can you read this? Parallel universes. Now, quantum physics says the entire universe might be a hologram. Are you a hologram? Do you know what a hologram is? Tell me. Somebody who shook their head tell what a hologram is. No, it's not. It's interstices of crossing light beams. So, you know, the ancients said we're made of light, everything's made of light anyway. That's what they meant. It's probably a hologram. Since we can pinch our holograms, it might not be too real. New dimensions, multiple dimensions have been theoretically discovered and proposed. See, you can meet yourself in another dimension. Scientific American thought the advent of the parallel universes thing